personally know how confusing it can be when you're trying to navigate all the information out there when it comes to thyroid and hormone health and trying to really figure out what is actually accurate and what we actually need to just kind of avoid the advice on. So I wanted to share some of my top 5 myths that I definitely feel like these are super important when it comes to thyroid and hormone health that we need to understand a little bit more. And I'll share a few extra myths at the end with you as well. The first one is that thyroid issues only affect women. And I personally actually have started coaching a lot of men in my program. When I designed the program, it initially was just for women, but I started getting so many men reaching out to me that are having some of these similar issues as women are when it comes to thyroid stuff. So I have really noticed that there is a lot more prevalence now coming with men having hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's and thyroid disease. For that matter. So I definitely feel like that thyroid issues definitely do not affect only women. Another one that I really want to debunk is if your TSH is normal, your thyroid is fine. And I can't tell you how many times I hear this from people reaching out to me who are like, my doctor said my TSH is fine. It's not my thyroid, but I'm really not feeling very well. I'm having a lot of symptoms. It sure seems like it is. So TSH, remember, it's a brain hormone. It's not even a thyroid hormone. It signals from the brain and it tells your thyroid that you actually need to release more thyroid hormone. So when you're getting TSH only assessed, you're literally getting a brain hormone assessed. You're not getting any picture of what's going on with your thyroid. So you need to make sure you're getting a full thyroid panel and you need to have free T3, free T4. I do like to look at reverse T3 if you've never had it done before, but thyroid antibodies are very, very essential. Thyroid peroxidase, which usually looks like TPO, and thyroid globulin. Sometimes it's abbreviated like TG or TGAB, but these are really important to see because if you have an autoimmune component, that's a very different plan of attack and a very different treatment plan. And you need to kind of emphasize and prioritize the autoimmune component first versus the actual thyroid numbers. So make sure that you are getting a full thyroid panel. Also keep in mind when we're thinking about like thyroid antibodies, if that's an autoimmune component, you definitely need to know that because, when we have anything autoimmune, you run the risk of having other autoimmune issues going on. And over 90% of people that actually have diagnosed hypothyroidism have thyroid antibodies. They actually have Hashimoto's and they don't know it. So it's really important to make sure you're getting a bigger picture. Another myth I wanted to debunk as well is that thyroid disorders only cause weight gain. I actually have worked with quite a few women in my program who they actually didn't have any weight issues from their hypothyroidism. They didn't have any, weight gain or weight loss resistance. The weight was not the issue. Now, is that a common thing? Yeah. I mean, most people, I usually do see a lot of people at some point do have issues with having weight gain or weight loss resistance, but not everyone. You can have a lot of other issues when it comes to symptoms from thyroid issues. So things like fatigue, brain fog, hair loss, mood changes. I mean, there's so many things that are connected to your thyroid. It's not just weight. Now, like I said, a lot of people have this issue and eventually will if it doesn't go managed and we don't get the thyroid condition managed. But very, very important to know that you can have a lot of other symptoms from it. And not everyone has a weight issue. So I actually just started working with a woman who said her doctor told her, well, your TSH looks normal and you're not gaining weight, so it's not your thyroid. And she was having all these other symptoms. We did other testing and sure enough, it was actually her thyroid. So definitely make sure that you rule that out. Another myth, myth number 4, is you can fix your thyroid with medication alone. Very, very tricky situation with medication because can it help? Yeah, but remember, thyroid medication, it's supplying you with T3 or T4, like one or the other or both. But that doesn't address your root causes. So if you have things like, stress, or if you have, your poor nutrition, or you have mineral imbalances and things like that, if you aren't addressing those things, the medication's just a Band-Aid. It's not really going to do anything. So make sure that you actually are thinking about like, okay, so what is actually causing my thyroid condition? That's why, like in functional medicine, that's what we do. We actually start looking at root causes and we do a deeper dive and deeper investigation to figure out what's going on with you. Okay, myth number 5 is that everyone with underactive thyroid or even just hormone issues alone, should diet and exercise more. And the truth is that eating less and exercising more will only make things worse when you have thyroid and hormone issues. So be careful with that, because I know for me, like I was told by, I can't tell you how many doctors told me that I needed to eat less, I needed to exercise more, and I was doing all those things, and that did nothing for me. It actually didn't help me at all. So just keep that in mind, that can actually cause more damage than good, especially long term. It can cause a lot of issues long term for a lot of people, because it's too taxing on the body to do that. Okay. Now, some other myths that I wanted to mention is one myth that, and this is just some bonus ones for you, to not eat carbohydrates. I had a lot of people reach out to me more recently that said, my doctor said I shouldn't eat carbohydrates ever because I have an underactive thyroid or I have hormone issues. You actually need carbohydrates for that. Remember, over 60% of thyroid hormone conversion happens in the liver. So most of that conversion that's happening in the liver, it needs glucose. If you don't get any carbohydrates in, you have no glucose. You do not have enough glucose for that conversion. So keep that in mind, that we do need carbohydrates. I just get very strategic with my clients when having carbohydrates. Just don't eat them alone. Make sure you're having protein with it. That will definitely help you as well, okay? And then another myth that I also wanted to mention is that if you start thyroid medication, you're on it for life. Can that happen for some? Sure, it totally can. I mean, I've seen it where some people went, they started it and they're just stuck on it forever. Not everyone even actually needs thyroid medication. And I've actually worked with a lot of women where we've, did some investigation and found the underlying root causes, what was going on with their thyroid in the first place. We found the why. And then we fixed all that, and they didn't need the medication. They actually were able to get off the medication. So there are quite a few people who don't need medication, but just because you started while you're trying to navigate, underlying root causes, and heal and get your symptoms to go away, sometimes you do need that little extra nudge while you're trying to go through the process, and then you can eventually get off of it. Now, I'm not saying everyone can get off thyroid medication, but what I am saying is that not everyone needs that for life. So don't be scared of that, but like now you're going to have to be on it forever. So that's definitely not the case. So definitely let me know if you have any questions with this. Like I said, there's a lot of information out there when it comes to thyroid stuff. I know it's overwhelming. I know there's a lot of places that you can start looking and researching and trying to figure out what's actually true, what's not true, what should I follow or not follow. So that's why I try to, give you as much information here as I can, to give you the best way possible, and start helping you, think about some other things that maybe I do need to look at root causes. Maybe I do have some underlying things here going on that I haven't really addressed, which is why I got into functional medicine. That's why I do all the testing that I do, for that reason, so that we can fix all these underlying things so that you don't need to deal with the symptoms, and maybe you can get off your thyroid medication. So like I said, let me know if you have any questions with this, and I hope this helped you.